Yes, that's the girl.
So now I am observing this template called self-destruction. And the self-destruction is expressed in terms of deterioration. It's something that is happening usually internally, right? It's inbuilt, pre-programmed somehow to self-destruct. There's several ways of portraying that. And a movie like I'm Thinking of Ending Things, because it's that right there in the title, I'm thinking of ending things. So you expect the movie to be built on a template. So what you are observing is a structure and seeing the real motivation behind, or the real recurring image happening there. So you see aging, all the things are there. You can see it's on the background image. You see fading. But what more interesting in terms of this is that I stumbled upon this template, because before this template there's another one. Tug of war. So this tug of war is like a dog who likes to play like that with the struggle of power. A tug of war, I could say, that's a template, right? It could be a template in movies or just a template of the mind. You can see that in the human behavior, right? You can see that usually if you have a game, there's an opposition. It's a person playing against the other. So there's a power struggle there. So tug of war as a template, as an image used in movies, it's highlighted as the tug of war template is in Gone with the Wind when they hear about the war. And they're all very happy. What's highlighting there, that scene, is that idea of the world as a simulation, the myth of the cave. Those men, they don't understand the reality, the gruesomeness of war. They only see it as this game, and they have a pull towards that tug of war situation. And through that thing that looks adventurous, there'll be death,
Horrible things are going to happen!
destruction, consumption, there'll be fire. Remember I said they were fired.
Fired.
Is one of the expressions of a person being fired from job, losing the job, the word fire. So fire itself, consumption, you say consumption. So that's deterioration, self-destruction. And it's very associated to the tug of war. And that tug of war, the way we started, how did I stumble upon the self-destruction, is that tug of war. So that people live with that in their heart. And sometimes people call that obsessions, like they live on trying to find someone to argue with, for some reason, like someone owes something. It's in there, it's the human mind. Everyone has it to extent levels, I would say. But people know how to control it. Others maybe an illness, it's a real illness. You can see in different measures. So that tug of war, at the end, it's almost fighting with itself, right? It's like a thing that exists in the individual. But it can be expressed collectively in a controlled manner through sports, for example, for supporting and that. And most people seem to know where the fantasy, where the theater ends, where the game ends, and when reality starts. But that line can be easily blurred depending on how people are moved or stirred within their inner soul to be moved to a situation where they're going to be distracted. So I was thinking about the tug of war, right? Because we thought about the movie Martyrs. Now there's a question, what is in Martyrs? What is that they see? Why the girl sees a ghost that attacks herself, like it's a self-harm, and in the end there's a character who self-delete, right? I was very careful with the use of the word self-destruction, because that's the very literal expression of that is this. It's not a subject I like to be talking about. I didn't watch Martyrs, so I end up stumbling upon the self-destruction template, which you can observe through these many recurring images that usually culminates in a more literal act. Like you think of King Kong falling from the building, right? He kind of gives up there. I think Novel Barnes, from the Hudsucker Proxy. He jumps. The movie starts there with the jumping. You see that in Pulp Fiction a lot. The name Pulp Fiction itself, it's a self-deteriorating material, right? For easy consumption, brief, ephemeral. I thought the word ephemeral, state of things. That and the tug of war. So these are two important templates, I think. So I have not seen the tug of war itself, right? But more on the like it goes back to the human being. They are self-destructing through wars, through self-destructive behavior, like in the substance, images are fading, like the music fading away. She's also drinking, she's intoxicating herself. And also, like I said, the shrinking woman is associated to all these, because in these moments you can see her image disappearing, not only fading out, but also becoming smaller. So say that all these images are structured around one template called self-destruction. I think later she appears more closer to the floor. A shrinking woman, she's getting smaller, so one of the expressions of the shrinking woman is getting closer to the floor, more flat. And that's why she, in the substance, she basically in the end, she becomes like a pizza splattered on the floor. That's because it's a hilarious movie if you see the whole joke around it.